Hello, Piggle Wiggle fans. Yesterday in our story, Dick was being selfish and not sharing. And so his mother, Mrs. Thompson, has called Mrs. Piggle Wiggle crying to try to get some information on how to help him share better. Mrs. Piggle Wiggle said, "Now, Mrs. Thompson, do not feel sad. Selfishness and greediness are just diseases like measles and chickenpox and can be cured very easily. But we must start now before another day passes because Dick is such a nice little boy and we want everyone to like him as we do." "Oh, do you like him in spite of his selfishness?" asked Dick's mother. "Of course I do," said Mrs. Piggle. "I love all children. But it distresses me when I see a child who has a disease like selfishness or answer backism or won't put toys away at itis, and his parents don't do a thing to cure him." "But I want to cure Dick," said his mother. "I will do anything to cure him." Mrs. Piggle Wiggle said, "The Selfishness Cure is really very simple, but the rules must be followed very strictly. You will have to come down here and get my Selfishness Kit, and at the same time, I will give you the directions for its use." "Thank you so much, dear Mrs. Piggle Wiggle," said Mrs. Thompson. "I will leave right now." And she hung up the phone, slipped on a jacket, and ran all the way to Mrs. Piggle Wiggle's house. When she arrived, Mrs. Piggle Wiggle was on the front porch waiting for her. On the porch beside her was a quite large green metal box with "Selfishness Kit" painted on the side in white letters. Mrs. Piggle Wiggle invited Dick's mother to sit down, and then she opened the kit. Inside were about 25 padlocks of various sizes. There were great big ones about the size of apples, down to little tiny ones not much larger than a penny. Also, there were screws and a screwdriver and a box of cloth labels that said Dick, a box of blank gummed labels, a small can of white paint, a small can of black paint, a small paintbrush, and a pastry bag. This was a large bag with a nozzle on the end, which when filled with frosting can be squeezed and the frosting comes out at the end like a toothpaste and can be formed into words. Mrs. Piggle Wiggle said, "Mrs. Thompson, these padlocks are for Dick's drawers, his closet, his toy chest, his bicycle, his bedroom door, his nightstand drawer, and his toothbrush. As soon as you get home, put all the padlocks on everything he owns and give him the keys. This is to assure him that he and he alone can touch his things. The name labels are to be sewn in all of his clothes, and the gum stickers are to be put in all of his books, even his school books, notebooks, pencil boxes, and are to be pasted on his ruler, crayons, and paints. On each sticker, print in large letters with this black paint, Dick's book, don't touch, Dick's notebook, don't touch, and so forth. On every toy he owns, you must paint either in black or white paint, Dick's ball, don't touch, or Dick's bat, don't touch. Put the name of the toy first and then don't touch. The pastry bag is to be filled with simple white frosting and used to mark Dick's sandwiches, his fruit, his cookies, and his plate for each meal. That's all there is to it. I expect you will be returning the Selfishness Kit before a week has passed." Mrs. Thompson said, "I do hope so, Mrs. Piggle Wiggle. Are you sure it will work? It has cured hundreds of other children, and I see no reason why it should not cure Dick. A week or two, even less, I should say." Mrs. Thompson thanked Mrs. Piggle Wiggle very much, and then lugging the kit, she walked home. As soon as she hung up her jacket, she began sewing the labels in all of Dick's clothes. He asked her what she was doing, and when she showed him, he was as happy as he could be. "Boy, that'll show people who owns my clothes," he said proudly. Mrs. Thompson did not answer, but continued to put the labels on every single stitch of his clothing, including his socks and his handkerchiefs. And then she opened the kit and took out the tiniest padlock, and she fastened Dick's toothbrush to the toothbrush rack with a little padlock, snapped it shut, and handed him the key, which was not much bigger than a pin. "You had better find a ring to hold all your keys," she said. "You're going to have about 25 of them." "Boy, this is just wonderful," Dick said, fondling the tiny key and thinking, "That's my toothbrush, and now nobody but me can touch it." He was very happy. When dinner time came, Mrs. Thompson closed the Selfishness Kit and took it upstairs to show Dick's father. She told him about Mrs. Piggle Wiggle, and he patted her on the back and said that he was sure everything was going to be all right. And where was the evening paper? After dinner, they went upstairs to put some of the padlocks on and were surprised to find that Dick himself had already put the locks on each of his bureau drawers, his nightstand drawer, his toy box, his closet door, his bedroom door. He also had put stickers on the covers of all of his books, notebooks, coloring books, crayon and colored pencil boxes, and stamp album. On the stickers, he had printed in black paint, Dick's book, don't touch. Dick's notebook, don't touch. Dick's crayons, don't touch. Dick's pencil box, don't touch. Dick's stamp album, don't touch. He was very proud and asked his father if he didn't think he printed well. His father said, well, you should be able to print well. You certainly have practiced enough. And he looked disgustedly around the room at all the stickers which labeled everything. Dick's brush, don't touch. Dick's comb, don't touch. Dick's window blind, don't touch. He turned to Dick's mother and said, perhaps we should wear stickers. Dick's mother, don't touch. Dick's father, don't touch. I'll bet he'll wear monogrammed underwear when he grows up. Mrs. Thompson said, oh, I hope not, Herbert. And Dick said, come on, Mom and Dad, let's mark all the rest of my stuff. Goodness. How in the world, since he's so excited, and here's a picture, I don't know if you can see him in his room making labels for everything. How is this going to help him be a kind and sharing boy? Please comment below if you have an idea, and we'll continue with our story another day. Have a great day.